the world, it can seem absolutely massive, and in fact, it truly is. It is vast. All of the people, all of humanity, it can seem like it's just a simple number. That's huge, and it is. There are billions of people on this planet. But what unites all of them? What equalizes all of this are the energies. And when these powerful internal energies are communicating directly with the individual, that means a profound sense of feeling. You might not understand the other person's reasons. You might not understand their words. And we are not just talking about different languages. We are actually talking about the specific words. A person who lives in the same country as you, who lives in the same city as you, who belongs to the same family. Often you don't understand what that person is saying. That specific individual who is within an incarnation, just like you, who has a biological DNA very similar to yours, who has the same distinct physical human characteristics as you, and that you, in that moment, can't fully comprehend the specific actions they have taken or the words they have spoken. And this understanding, it does not come into existence simply because of your lack of understanding. It is essentially born because of exactly what that specific person is trying to express to the world. You don't accept. That's why you don't understand. I don't understand why that person screams. I cannot begin to comprehend why they resort to stealing. I simply don't understand why they insist on putting up such a massive fight. I don't understand why they make these choices. I don't understand why they don't see. I don't understand why they don't accept me. I don't understand for this, for that, and for the other thing. The list, it's very long. But this understanding isn't purely on a simple intellectual level or a basic conceptual one. It's not part of the reasoning. It's part of the feelings. You don't accept that that person makes that choice. You don't accept that she's saying what she's saying. You don't accept that she can't see things the same way you do. You don't accept it, you don't accept it, and you don't accept it. You don't accept that there are people who prefer violence over words. You don't accept that there are people who, instead of looking at life through a completely different perspective and exercising the creative power they possess, they decide to abandon everything they have ever known, to go steal or to go cheat. You simply don't accept that she willingly chose to follow this destructive path. You can't accept that she chose this particular expression for herself. All of this isn't about the other person. It's about you. The other is just a tool of your world, your reality. It shows what you don't accept. It's not there to be a stumbling block in your path. The other or others are not there to give you pain, to give you suffering. Those other people who seem to be existing outside of your own self are only there to reflect back to you what you don't accept. What are you deeply emotionally attached to? What is it exactly that you don't want to see? That exists. Simply that it exists. This part of you, it's right there. Let's give an example. Imagine someone is stealing a car and you're passing by and you see this person stealing the car. And that brings you an immense sense of outrage. You enter a deep state of non-acceptance. And you say, my issue is with that person because they shouldn't be doing this. No, your issue isn't with that person, because if it were someone else, someone from another neighborhood, another nationality, another color, another height, another anything else, if you saw that person, if you were actually in their position and doing exactly what they were doing, you would undoubtedly react in the very same way, because they are simply looking indirectly at the depths of your own consciousness and saying, look, just take a moment to look at what you have hidden right there. I'm showing you, I'm proving to you what you truly possess deep within yourself. So it's really not about the other person at all. It's not about your child being rude or disrespectful. It's not about your neighbor failing to pay their monthly condo fees. It's not about your husband who simply wasn't like this before but now is. And it's not about your wife who seemingly doesn't care anymore. For you, it's not about that. These people are just tools of your world, who are made of the same feelings as you. Except you can only see your own feelings. You can only see your own part, the one that is right in front of you. It seems like it's the other person, but no. What is before you is just your personality that hasn't been healed. It is being represented by that specific individual, because if that part of your personality didn't exist, if that deep-seated belief of yours didn't exist, if your shadow had already been transcended, that person could never be in front of you, saying or doing what you strongly disapprove of or dislike. When we say that the path of true health and well-being can only be traversed and experienced within acceptance, it is essential to understand exactly why. When you enter a state of non-acceptance, you are completely off the path of well-being. Everything becomes a nuisance. Everything becomes a reason for impatience, unhappiness, stress, because you are not on the path of well-being. When you see it in another, heal it in yourself, because it only has to do with you. You can choose to hide behind the shield of victimhood, the rigid structures of morality, or your own definitions of right and wrong as much as you want. But the truth is that none of those things will ever truly be enough to heal your soul. Not a single one of these tools that you use, such as victimhood, insults, or humiliation, none of them can heal you. And then a person leaves your life, the one who has given you so much trouble. They leave. It could be a husband, a wife, a child, a neighbor, the boss, a coworker. It doesn't matter who it is. That person, you do and do and do, and you create a way to get them out of your way. You shift and redirect your creative energy to manifest and establish another timeline where that specific individual is no longer present. But since you still continue generating those same frequencies of resistance and non-acceptance, walking off the path of well-being, eventually, at some point in the future, another person will step in to take over their position. This is because you absolutely require that specific tool to truly see yourself. On your own, you're not succeeding, because if you were succeeding, you would have done it by now. And those specific actions of other people wouldn't be causing you any deep pain, irritation, constant frustration, or even a sense of disappointment. They wouldn't be causing those things in you. If they still hurt, it's because the simple truth is you still have those wounds. And they will. Keep on continuously attracting exactly what you need to see. Suffering is not a necessary door. Pain is not a necessary door, but it's an essential component of the process of healing for those who can't comprehend the situation on their own. So understand that just as all this happens to you, it happens to others. It happens to that person who lives next door to you, the person who lives with you under the same roof, the one who took the bus or is in the car next to yours in traffic. That person you've never seen, and maybe never will see in this lifetime. Believe it or not, everyone has the exact same biological mechanisms, the exact same frequencies, the exact same emotional feelings, the same needs. They behave and act in different ways. They accept or don't accept in ways that are sometimes unique. However, they have the exact same needs, the very same feelings, the identical sets of tools, the same challenges, and the same obstacles. So understand that the other person is not against you. They're expressing what you need to see in yourself, but it's also inside them, and they need to express it. Why? Because they suffer the same way you suffer when you see them. Express themselves that way, they also suffer seeing you express yourself the way you do. You say, I yelled because that person yelled at me. And then you yell at them, and they give back to you. The yell, the accusation. And you say, everything you're saying is not true. Everything you're saying is a lack of manners. But you're doing the same thing, acting in the same way, and receiving the same fruits that you and the other person planted. Absolutely no one is in your life by some simple stroke of luck or mere chance to only bring you the discomfort of this deeply confusing and chaotic world. Each and every person you meet offers up to you a very unique and specific piece of the entire universe for you to truly understand. A part that already exists in you, but alone you can't see it. When you start to awaken, you start to reconnect. And when you reconnect, you can see with more clarity. And this is precisely the reason why you often feel like your problems start to multiply and intensify as you acquire a significantly more profound level of consciousness expansion. Things seem to get slower, more difficult. It's because you're reconnecting parts you didn't notice before. So those specific parts that you are noticing right now, they are actually producing within you shame, feelings of frustration, disappointment, nervousness. They're producing what they didn't before because you were used to them. Now you don't want them anymore. But first, you must see. First, you must understand. First, you must accept. Keep in mind that every single part of yourself also exists in the other. And you are constantly expressing your shadows at every moment, exactly the same way that others do. So instead of pointing fingers and saying, you shouldn't talk to me like that, or I don't deserve this, remember that he's expressing a part of you, and that you should look, welcome, and heal. Instead of complaining, because your complaints, your crying, your fighting, your disappointment will not actually help with your healing. However, what is truly going to help with your healing will be a more a much broader and significantly clearer understanding of yourself, and a state of profoundly deep acceptance.